So it's coming to the end of the year. We've finished with the UFL Cup. Congratulations again, Coach Ernie. The season's finished for the Ascals. And so we can look back at 2012 and think, what's our favourite story of the year? What's the best achievement, either on a national or club level? Or what's our favourite football story for 2012? Coach Anto, let's go with you first. For you, what's been the biggest
towards
success?
the ASCAL stories. The Peace Cup, we won it, and it was our first major or first trophy ever in any football competition. But we weren't really going up against top caliber teams. We entered the semifinals again in the Suzuki Cup, but this time we weren't really the underdogs. We were expected to reach the semifinals. So I picked my football story for 2012, the Challenge Cup third place finish. Because back then, we were the underdogs. No one really expected us to reach third place or even reach the semifinals. And I thought that we played some wonderful football in that competition the whole time.
And again, it was in a group of death. India, Tajikistan, and North Korea, the past three winners of the competition. How much of an effect do you think that had? Because teams were perhaps scouting the team out in the Suzuki Cup. That unknown status or that anonymity, did that give the team the freedom to play as well as they did?
Our team. It gave them the necessary confidence, but I think the other teams now took notice of us more. A good sign of that is the Thai coach going to Cebu to watch our friendly match against Singapore. So really now teams are studying us. Unlike before, they would just employ their attacking tactics and not adjust based on our strengths. So now they're noticing us more, and probably they're adjusting more to our style of play.
And there was a lot of good moments within the Challenge Cup, defeating Tajikistan and India for the first time ever, defeating Palestine for the first time ever, and how the Philippines were the only country in the competition to go through both rounds of qualification and make the last stage. What for you was the standout moment or the standout result in the tournament?
I think it was the game against Tajikistan. They were former champions, and I thought we played very well, and we got the win.
And Coach Ernie, for you, no bias. What are the biggest stories for you of the year?
I actually have two. The first being, what we've been able to do in the UFL with the Stallions, from being a second division team, making first division, fourth place in the league, and then finally winning the cup. That's a big story for any coach for a short period of time. But then something bigger than that on the national level is what happened with the Malditas. Almost the same story. Nobody expected us to win. We went to the U.S., had a U.S. camp. We were able to identify good players there. We trained for like a week. We joined the LA Vikings Cup, which I think Canada won the previous year, and we ended up winning the LA Vikings Cup. So it looks like we have to go back there next year and defend. So to me, as a coach personally, winning as a national team coach for the women's and the men's, for the Stallions is, it's a high point for me.
And what kind of teams were you up against in the LA Vikings Cup? I remember you saying just before we got on camera, on set, against the finalists, they were coming from the Colombian, Mexican national teams. What kind of caliber opposition were you against that?
It was pretty high caliber competition. I mean, stronger than the teams that we played in the ASEAN region. They're not going to be the same in Japan, obviously, in Australia. But a lot of these players also come from Division I schools. They play semi-pro in the U.S., and we were surprised to find out that on the California Cosmos team, they actually had three national team players in the squad, two from the Mexican national team, and lo and behold, the star player, Maribel Dominguez, and then the goalkeeper for Colombia. So it was a good benchmark for me to see that the Filipinas were able to hold their own, against players from national teams ranked in the top 20s.
Mm.
So that's something that gave me a lot of a lot of hope, and it set the bar higher again for my expectations for the Malditas for 2013.
And what expectations do you have in 2013? I think you mentioned you have the World Cup qualifying right this year.
Yeah, we have a new project that we're working on right now. It's called Malditas 015, which is basically coincidental to the World Cup in Canada 2015. So that's our goal. We set that bar, and right now we have a very big chance of making it to the World Cup for the women's version. We're going to be playing Thailand, Iran, and Bangladesh in May for the round 1 qualifications. Only the top team goes to the finals, and if we do make the finals, for the 2014 finals, it's going to be against 4 teams right here waiting. That's Japan, Australia, the defending champion, South Korea, and China. And then the top 4 from the 4 teams that are going to be competing. Out of the 8 teams in the finals, 5 is going to go to the World Cup because of the new format for the 2015 version, where the World Cup, FIFA added an additional 8 teams. 2 additional slots were given to AFC. So from 3 teams that that would always represent AFC, the World Cup, now there's 5 teams that's going to represent AFC. So out of the 8 teams that's going to go to the finals, you have 50% chance of making it to the World Cup. So
It sounds a great story for 2013 as well. And with 2012, what's the biggest highlight or the biggest moment for you with the Stallions?
I mean, it's just last night, winning it after, it kind of, after all the hardship, all the practices, everything that we had to go through, challenges. I mean, we were even going through different sponsors and everything, but, we lost a couple of the sponsors to other teams. But then in the end, good thing we actually have the pensions that came in for our sponsors, and then Gilligan's as usual. So after all those things, and after everything we went through, finally everything clicked. And because of all the players in there, all the efforts they put in there, we won the championship. So that's something that I think I will always relive. I think I've watched the second goal video 20 times today, right? So
That just makes your victory.
yeah, as a coach, you know that,
Yeah.
that you put that effort in, and suddenly the players did it, and you're saying, shoot, they listened.
Yeah.
It happened. So
For myself, actually, it's a similar kind of thing on a smaller level. In Payatas, I coached some kids there, and for us, we won our first tournament back. I think it was September, and to see the progress that those kids have made, I can relate. Obviously, on a smaller level, I can relate how coaching and teaching someone, and to see that they get it, they understand, they start to pass and move, and they played some great football. They scored some great goals. So I was very proud of the kids there. It's part of the charity, the Fair Play for All Foundation. If you want to donate to us. But just a couple of quick mentions of nice football stories of the year. Just a little bit crazy. In the Azerbaijani Premier League, there was one guy, he's 21, he should have taken over one of the best clubs over there. And his experience is only the game Football Manager. That was the game that Phil and James Young's husband were discovered on. A gamer there just realised, they're Filipino, contacted the PFF, and then it's the exact same game. And of course, globally, perhaps the biggest story at the moment is Messi, and he's now on 90 goals. I think he's got 2 games left he can score in by the end of the year. It's unlikely he'll get to triple figures ever, but that's 90 goals in one calendar year has eclipsed Mueller's record beforehand. I think it was 84. So it's a big year for football, 2012. A massive year for the Azcals, a massive year for Stallions and the Malditas. So congratulations to everyone involved with that one. And to follow us into the new year, into 2013, you can catch us at FTW Sports.